Today we're going to learn how computer security is linked to your financial security. What's it all about? You'll find out coming up next on Carolina People. Good morning. Welcome to Carolina People. This morning we're at the Coastal Regional Outreach Center of the South Carolina School for the Deaf and Blind. We're focused on an upcoming computer security conference, and we're visiting with its general chair, Dr. John Stamey with Coastal Carolina University. Good morning, Dr. Stamey.
Good morning, Greg. It's good to see you.
Thank you so much for coming in. Of course, a very successful Scholarship of Teaching and Learning Conference was held a couple weeks ago at the Holiday Inn West, the home of next Wednesday's second annual 2008 Computer Security Conference. Pretty exciting, John.
It really is, Greg. We're excited that we're starting to bring conferences, academic conferences, to Myrtle Beach. It's something that, well, the computer science department and I started back in 2006 when we brought the ACM Design of Communication Conference here, the ACM being our major professional association. And then when I saw how well that went and how well people liked Myrtle Beach for a conference center, the former chair and I decided we needed to bring some conferences here to Myrtle Beach. So, you know, last year we started with the first annual Computer Security Conference. I don't know, is it okay to say first annual if you're not annual yet, but you know, the first annual, because we're second annual now.
Yeah.
So anyway, we brought that here, and then it was successful. We had a lot of people, and so we decided, we felt that teaching and learning was a very important component in a new way. It's kind of like the new age of teaching professionals in universities. Yes, we're researchers, but we're also teaching professionals. We have certain standards that we have to uphold.
Right.
Like, for example, I'm going to digress here a little bit so everyone understands why it's important. Our department, the Computer Science Department, is accredited by the Accrediting Board of Engineering Technology, ABET. The School of Business is accredited by AACSB, the Association for Advancement of Colleges and Schools in Business. What they do is they've given us a list of things that we need to do to be called accredited, so that we can understand what we're doing, how we're doing it, and make it really a repeatable process. Not that they're constraining what we do, but they're saying, here's some things that we need to have done, and then go ahead and go about your business. Teach, do research, do what you do.
Right.
So along with that comes a renewed look at exactly how we do our the in-class part of our profession. We have our research component, we have our service component, but we also have our in-class component, and how do we track it and how do we monitor it.
Right.
And it looks like there are a number of new things that are very important. One is e-portfolios, online teaching portfolios. That's a big deal now.
Why? Now, why would that be important, John?
Well, a teaching portfolio and a course portfolio, what they do is they reflect your practices in the classroom. And you need to track what you're doing so that you know what you did. Did it have to do with really what is the stated outcome of the course? Is what you did part of the stated outcome, and is it going to get you there? And then how do you evaluate that? So there's a whole set of machinery, if you will, that you need to put in place. We really track the things we do in class, the action learning exercises, the quizzes, the tests, the projects. We have a set of things called learning outcomes, student learning outcomes. We write those down. Well, is what we did throughout the semester, does it help us achieve those learning outcomes, number one? And number two, can we measure it? So basically we're saying, is the student getting their dollar value for the course? You know, a college education is expensive today.
Right.
It was more expensive. I mean, it's just more and more expensive. We have so many students that are working now as they go to school, and I guess the institutions that have these accreditations in various departments, they're saying, you know, we really care about what we do, and we want to make sure that we're up to certain standards with all the other schools. Like so that's one thing it's doing, is it's helping us give a renewed look at what we're doing, how we're doing it. And these conferences are starting to pop up right now. In fact, there are about 10 in the country. And in fact, the SOTL 2008 conference made the big list published by Illinois State University when you go on there.
Is that right? How exciting, John.
Well, it really was. I mean, I used to look at that list and say, well, this is great. And I didn't bother or anything, but all of a sudden one day I was there and I said, wow, SOTL 2008 on the subject is there, and so I guess now I can email them and say, well, 2009 is coming up, and we're adding an extra component for technology and an extra component for multimedia, because that's what people were interested in. Teaching excellence, technology, multimedia. Those are things, and so we'll be splitting it out. It's going to be one conference, but separate tracks. One for scholarship of teaching and learning, one for teaching excellence, which is a whole different thing. That's practices, general practices, and then multimedia and technology. There's a lot of multimedia and technology. In fact, one of our invited speakers, Dr. Tim Burcham from the University of Tennessee at Martin.
Right.
As they talk about way up in the hills, he is the technology whiz. He's built an entire online graduate program with all this neat stuff, and he talked about that. In fact, Tim did us a big favor. He recorded the entire conference. So on the website, we're going to have digital proceedings. Everyone will be able to see the PowerPoints and the papers that people wrote. They'll also be able to hear the entire conference.
Great. This is at sotlconference.org.
You got it, sotlconference.org. So anybody, those archives are there for people to enjoy and learn. And Tim was very adamant about making sure that I properly introduced every speaker.
Great,
so that,
yes.
Also
those will go live when, Dr. Stamey?
It'll take...
Do you mind if we call you John?
Please call me John.
A professor.
I ask that everybody does. Those should go live by June 1st.
June 1, which is the same date that all the online proceedings would go live for this year's second annual Computer Security Conference.
You got it.
Yes, which is the big focus because we're a week from today. But we wanted to take a second just to talk about the SOTL conference. And as you said, you really wanted to drive home teaching excellence going forward.
Exactly. We had about 42 people participate, the work of 75 scholars, and there was a real sense of community and a real sense of excitement as we wound up. One thing that I wanted to mention is that we gave out the first annual Robinson O. Everett Teaching Portfolio Prize.
Wow.
That's right, named after a man near and dear to your heart.
I know that guy, absolutely, who just celebrated his 80th birthday about a month ago.
That's right, and the reason is Greg and I, and I'll share this with everybody. Greg and I were talking about how many good things his father has done to so many of his students who are now attorneys, successful attorneys, politicians, judges, and I said, Greg, the man is a real teacher. We need to name this award after your father. And Greg said, that's a really great thing. So last 4th of July, when your dad was down here, you and I approached him and said, would you mind if we do that? He said, well, he would be very honored. Well, we were very honored too, Judge Everett. I know you might have a chance to see this, so thanks for your 50 years of service and doing such a great job. Yeah. And the winner was Dr. Kathy Dykes from Clemson.
Yes.
She submitted an e-portfolio. It was on a disc, and it was just tremendous. So Kathy Dykes, thank you very much, and your picture. Well, of course, her picture will be online with you presenting on sotlconference.org, and also I believe it's going to be in this week's Myrtle Beach Herald. Or actually, it was last week. It was last week's Myrtle Beach Herald.
That's exactly
the weeks are running together because the conference is coming up.
Get ready for this next Wednesday's conference. So it's really getting close, John. Or you've got folks coming in from all over the world. And real quick, for viewers who need to get off to work now or get family off to school, is there a good phone number for them to call, or even a website to learn more about the 2008 Computer Security Conference?
Two things. As I say, the website is the simplest in the world. It's computersecurityconference.com, computersecurityconference.com, and the phone number, I'll say it twice, then I'll hang up. That's what I always say when I leave a message. It's 843-349-2552. 843-349-2552.
Right.
So give me a call, and plus anyone here in town or in the viewing area of Carolina people, whether it's online or whether it's here in town on television on Fox 43, give me a call if you'd like to register. We have a special price for local people and those people who see our broadcast that are not presenting. We're doing $175. The regular cost is $295, so you get a substantial discount.
Right.
So just give me a call and let me know. Group rates will apply. We've got the Grand Strand Technology Council is very interested. I think a group of them are coming, and We have groups of students coming from a number of colleges and universities.
Great.
Coastal Carolina University, of course.
Yes.
And Voorhees College in Denmark, South Carolina is sending a group.
You'll have a good component from all over the Palmetto State. Hopefully some folks from the Tar Heel State as well.
Well, from all over the world, actually.
Right.
Let me share with you
Yeah,
a
John,
little bit
please.
about, I know we've got a conference committee, but what's really important are the invited, well, the conference committee is very important. They've helped us put this together, but a number of them are also invited speakers. First of all, 3 attorneys, because you know your dad's an attorney,
Right.
and we have a lot of attorneys that you and I are friends with. First of all, from Womble Carlisle, Cully Carson from up in the RTP office,
Right,
a good friend
sure.
of both of ours.
Yes, yes.
He's actually he has an interest in privacy policies that came out of the last computer security conference. He's been doing some research and some practice in that area. He's going to talk about privacy policies. Of course, Zeke Creech from Parker Poe, he's in the Durham office. Is he in the
He's in Raleigh.
He's in the Raleigh office. Zeke will be here, and he'll be talking about medical information security. It's always good to have Zeke.
Yep.
And then we'll have Wade Chumney. Wade is a UVA attorney, and he's at Belmont University in Nashville. Wade will be here talking about a variety of issues, and then the 3 of them are going to be on a panel, and that's Thursday afternoon. I believe that's one of the high points of the conference. That will be Thursday afternoon at 4 o'clock, rounding out the big day there of sessions.
Next Thursday the 17th.
Next Thursday
That
the
is tremendous,
17th.
yes.
Because I think Cully is going to be at 1 o'clock on Thursday.
Right.
Then Zeke will be doing his panel on medical information security at 2.
Right.
Then we've got, I think, our buddy John Kibler at 3.
Great,
And
yes.
So a really action-packed afternoon, and then the panel.
Say our buddy, obviously, John Kibler, you're talking about, a gentleman I met last year as we were filming Carolina People from the Holiday Inn West, where this second annual conference will be held right there on the waterway. And of course, next week is the kickoff week for the Hard Rock theme park locally, as you know, which is very exciting.
yeah.
So we kind of crowded over there with a lot of locals popping into the Hard Rock Park for their soft opening. But John Kibler, share with viewers real quick a little bit about John Kibler.
About John Kibler. You know, I've got a friend, Jack English, in Atlanta, and people all over the country say Jack's the hardest working man in the broadcasting industry. Well, that's John Kibler. He's the hardest working man in the security industry. He's got clients all over the world, yet he's doing research. He's contributed 2 papers to this conference, plus he's going to be moderating the panel session with the attorneys. And John is, he's a specialist in a number of areas, and that's hard to believe. But he really is, because he works so hard to keep up. He's a certified trainer in a couple of areas. He works with the FBI and the CIA, and he's just a good friend, and you can call him and you can ask him a question, and even if he's busy, he'll take time to help you find the answer. So that's one reason he is one of our featured invited speakers. We've also got Joe Stewart. Joe is probably the top guy in security in the United States. He works at SecureWorks here in Myrtle Beach. Joe's wife, I was fortunate enough, Lori Stewart, I was fortunate enough to teach her as an undergraduate when I first came to Coastal. They are nice people, and Joe's a wonderful speaker, and he is in charge of strategic planning and security at SecureWorks here in Myrtle Beach.
One of the top guys in computer security worldwide is based in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina.
Right, because he was with LIRC,
Right.
which was a company formed here by another Coastal graduate, Tony Prince. In fact, that was one reason that we thought security would be a good area to have a conference, is because we have a major security company. So then they merged with SecureWorks in Atlanta and became the largest privately held security company in the United States.
Wow.
And so Joe is the security architect. So we've got Joe, we've got John Kibler, we've got Joe, and we've got Jeff Kroom of IBM. In fact, all 3 of those gentlemen asked to come back. We were so thrilled. I've really not heard when invited speakers request to come back the next year. We were so thrilled. We appreciate it because we put a lot of hard work in the conference, and we developed another sense of community there that has really lasted. 70% of the registered participants from last year have returned. That tells you how much they like the one. But the other person, we've got to mention, Jeff Kroom. He was the security architect for IBM when they went to China 2 years ago. He is the one that decided how they were going to set up security when IBM opened their offices in China. That's a big deal. And so we're pleased to have Jeff coming. We're pleased to have Joe coming, John Kibler. Of course, we have Rao Katagiri from the University of Melbourne. We have T.Y. Chen from Swinburne Technology University. in Australia. We've got Klaus Yente from Technical University of Ilmenau, and he's also on the faculty at the University of Hokkaido. In fact, I shared the podium with Klaus a year and a half ago. We were both invited speakers at a workshop at the University of Hokkaido. It was a great experience to meet him.
It was in Japan?
Yeah, exactly.
Wow,
it was in Japan. It was a wonderful experience. So we've got those folks. We've got the 3 attorneys that are going to be invited speakers.
A lot of great invited speakers. I was
There
amazed.
are.
Of course, folks can go online to computersecurityconference.com to see a
Exactly.
lot of the invited speakers, to see a lot of your committee members, to register online. Is that a secure registration, John? If someone was to go in and put in their credit card at a computer security conference, I'd sure like to hope so.
Listen here, it's 128 bits secure. That's as secure as
Okay.
we got today.
Right.
Maybe next year will be 256, but right now it's 128 bits secure. It's as secure as it gets. So we've done our part to try to make things secure for folks. But I think people are going to enjoy it. We're going to teach them a lot.
Yeah.
The talks, yes, it's an academic conference, but when you go to security conferences, they're really trying to reach out to everybody. Right now, we're at the stage that I think the computer scientists are doing all the tough stuff, all the algorithms that are really hard for people to understand. But this is more of an information systems look at what are the practices that are going on and how do we need to make them better. I'm going to talk, I'm doing a workshop on software project management and security. I'm going to be talking about the everyday things that you can do in running a software project, or any project for that matter. I'm going to talk about security. So my talk's going to be on Wednesday. Okay. And we're going to have Dr. Will Jones. He's a brand new faculty member. He's going to be a brand new faculty member at Coastal Carolina this fall. He is an invited speaker, so looking forward to him.
Absolutely.
We're going to talk about forensics, and Dr. Steve Scheel and Crystal Edge from our computer science department at Coastal are going to talk about action labs and forensics. Ryan Rossi is going to talk, and Jean-Louis Lassay will be talking about bioinformatics and secure codes and circular codes.
Now, how would locals get involved? Why should they come over the course of the 3 days, and if they can only come one day, or is there a most important day? I'm sure every day there is going to be critical.
Every day is going to be good. This is one of those times when I can't say be sure to come on this day or be sure to come on that day, because every day has kind of a different focus.
Right.
On Wednesday is actually the first annual workshop on secure software engineering. So it's going to be a little bit about programming and software projects. If you're interested in that, come then. On the second day, we're talking about security in general, and we're going to have a lot of legal issues in the afternoon. On Friday, we're going to be taking more of an academic. Now, we will be getting a little more academic on Friday, right, as we have some results in encryption and things like that, but nothing that someone that's just sophisticated enough to get online and use a search engine well wouldn't be able to understand.
Right.
We're also going to have some posters from graduate students. We've got about 7 or 8 of those.
When you say posters, just so viewers don't understand, what's the significance of a
Posters
poster?
are a neat
what
thing.
Does that mean?
It's like a 42 inches wide by 36 inches tall, and what it is they normally have an abstract, a little bit about what's going on, and they have little boxes with examples, and they have references. We had 10 posters at the SOTL conference.
Right.
And what you do is you set them out as a gallery, and the authors stand by their posters, and you can go around and talk to the people and learn. It's a time to network and to mingle. In fact, I'll have a poster there with a very talented student named Mike Leal. We are looking at thought experiments, and thought experiments are different ways of looking at situations and analyzing them. Like, well, if this happens, what could happen in the future? And I know that just sounds very simple, but a lot of folks are not aware of thought experiments. They've been around. I mean, they've been around since Aristotle. Aristotle created the first one, but they're not things that people have really dwelt on. They're kind of shoved back in the corner. And Mike and I are kind of on a crusade to put them back into the light, just like I did with the 9 Windows thought experiment, which is, I guess, the 8th one. There are now 8 thought experiments. We're going to talk about those and how you can analyze any situation, not just security. So that's something on the Thursday poster session when we have, of course, the reception. That's going to be a great time for people to come ask me about thought experiments, and and see what's going on.
For folks, John, who can't, categorically unavailable next week, can't be at the 2008, the second annual Computer Security Conference, what are some things that viewers should be concerned about, some security risks right now that they should be particularly thinking about or concerned about?
Greg, I hate to tell you this, but it's the same issues that we had last year and the year before.
Right.
Number one is identity theft. You've got to be careful. If a site doesn't look good, don't put your credit card number in. Hold sites to a high standard of look and feel. And make sure they've got that little golden lock in the browser. And click on that little lock. It will tell you about the secure certificate. It'll tell you if it's, if it's 16 bits or 128 bits. If it's 16 bits, it's old and you don't want it. You don't want to give them your credit card information. But make sure it's got a secure certificate. Be careful about that. Number two is phishing. If you get an email that says, this is PayPal, we need to update your information, they never do that. Neither does eBay, and neither does your bank. And if you get an email that says your something or other has been compromised, no, it hasn't. That is an attempt to get your information. They'll give you a link, and what that link will do is it will go to a site that they've cooked up that looks just like eBay or just like PayPal, and they'll ask you to type in your old password, then a new password, then they'll immediately change yours to something else. You're locked out. They'll go in there and do something to you. That's called phishing.
Wow.
It's like, taking a line with a hook and dangling it in front of you.
Right.
And then another one. This is kind of a new thing. This has started about a year ago. If anyone is on any instant messaging programs, and if you get a message that says, is this really you? And then they give you a link. Do not click that link. This happens about once every month. What happens is people are connected to instant messaging programs. Person A has got like MSN Messenger open, and they're talking to persons B, C, D, and E. And then what will happen is if they click on it, that link will actually go, first of all, it will go probe around your computer. Second of all, it will send that message to all the instant messages boxes you have open. And so one person can start this, and they can send it to enough people that will do it, and you can get into 1 million computers in the blink of an eye. Within an hour, they can go around, and if you don't have McAfee installed, you certainly are in a lot of trouble, McAfee or Norton, because they know how to catch this. It tries to put a .exe file on your computer that will start executing and sending information. So you've got to be very careful if you use instant messaging software. I use that to communicate with students, like especially in Google. If you open Gmail, then it has the G chat, and everyone you send an email to is potentially a G chat person. And like if I use it to speak with Steve Shields, Jean-Louis Lassay. I talk to my students on it. They can easily get to me if I'm online on Gmail. Then I'm available to be spoken with. So if I see one of those links pop up, I send them a message back. You're in trouble.
Right.
And I tell them what to do. So that's a new one that's started. But then again, it's the phishing. Getting these fake emails says your eBay account, or we're trying to update your information. They're not trying to do that.
That is terrible.
That and furthermore, just identity theft.
This is serious stuff, John.
It is. You know what? If you're smart, the risk is almost not there for you. But if you are not watching every minute, and every time you see any opportunity on the internet, an opportunity being a link, anytime you see an opportunity, you need to say, is this really okay? Now, it may very well be not. It may very well be a problem. So as long as you're mindful and watch what you're doing, listen, you can surf all day on scholar.google.com. You can search all the top websites, the search engines. Now, one nice thing that McAfee will do, and I don't know if Norton does this or not, but McAfee actually rates sites. And I know that when I do a Google search, it inserts a little green thing that says, we've looked at this site and it's okay.
Really? Great.
And I like that. Now, I don't know if Norton does. I mean, maybe as a researcher in the field, I should probably. But I got my one license. Maybe I should go check. And all you Norton folks, call me or send me an email and let me know. jwstamey@coastal.edu. Let me know if Norton does that. But I know McAfee has made it real easy. And sometimes it'll have like a little red thing, and you click on it, and it'll say, we found this site to generate a lot of spam for you if you're not. And so it really helps out. So again, if you just watch the resources that you naturally get, you're going to be okay.
John, we're out of time. How can folks register for the conference? How easy is it?
It's as easy as going to that very safe site, computersecurityconference.com, and click on the registration link.
Filling out the very basic information and getting here next Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, the Holiday Inn West, right there on the waterway.
8:30 a.m. to 5 o'clock p.m. Just come to the door. You can register at the door. You'll see me. I'll be walking around, general chair. Got a lot of other folks that will be there. It's a great crowd. Come
Great
join
words.
us.
Thank you, Dr. Stamey.
Will you come join us
I'm
for
surely
a
going to
little
make
bit?
it. You know, we've got a lot of filming next week of Carolina People, but thank you.
That's right, and I'll invite you. I'll even buy you lunch.
Oh, we like that. Stay tuned to more Carolina People with Dr. John Stamey, the General Chair of the 2nd Annual Computer Security Conference, coming up next. Many computer security experts actually frown on using the internet a lot because they know there's so many ways to get in trouble when you're online, so many risks, lots of threats that are constantly out there. Could you live your life that way? Could you actually not go on the computer because you're worried about things coming after you? If you lived your life that way, you go nuts. If you've gotten online, you're enjoying being on the internet, just make sure you recognize those risks. Make sure you recognize the threats. This 2nd Annual Computer Security Conference is one of the ways to help minimize the risks online. Get online at computersecurityconference.com, computersecurityconference.com, or pick up the phone, 843-349-2552. Registration is very reasonable. It's 3 days. You heard Dr. Stamey say it. There's no particular day because each of the 3 days are special days to understand the true risks, the real threats out there online, and to find ways to make sure that you're protected as much as you can be. Dr. Stamey, thanks so much for being with us this morning.
Thank you very much. I enjoyed it.
Absolutely.